Hello everyone, welcome to Marlin Chess Kids. Today I'll show the gameplay by Suren and Saripalli, and this beautiful game complete in just 19 moves. And let's see how the game play. The game starts with the move to e4, e5, knight to c3, knight c6, bishop to c4. And this bishop is developed and trying to attack the pawn at f7. So you can just bring your knight to f3, then to g5, and the knight can just attack the pawn at f7 and protected by the bishop. Then this knight can just fork the queen and also the rook. So in the actual game, knight f6 was played and d3 from the white. Then the black play knight to a5, and this knight is trying to remove the bishop away from the board. So after this move, knight f3 was played, and now the knight just capture off the bishop. And this is the first 5 move, and the position is equal in this game. So the pawn will just capture it back, d takes c4, and after this d6 was played, and this pawn is trying to protect the pawn. If not, the knight will just capture the pawn at e5. Then the white continue to play bishop to g5, and this bishop is developed to pin the knight. So the knight cannot move, and if he move, he will capture the queen. After this, c6 was played, and now the white just go for a short castling. Then the black play h6, trying to capture the bishop. And with this, the black can move the knight if the bishop is moved away. So in the game, the bishop just capture off the knight, and now the queen capture it back. Queen takes f6, then queen to e2, and here the black continue to develop bishop to e6. So this is the first 10 move, and in the analysis it showed that the black is slightly better in this position. Then the game continue with rook a to d1, and the idea is that you have the rook to attack the pawn if the bishop is moved away from protecting the pawn. So in the actual game, after this move, the black has some very nice idea to attack in the flank with the g file and also h file. Continue to attack on the flank with the g file. So after this move, the black play g5, and this blue path indicate the critical path for this pawn move from g7 to g5, then to g4, and final to h3. So in this move, the white just continue to play a b3, and this gives black continue to attack with the pawn h5. After this, the queen goes to e3, and the idea is to capture the pawn and attack the queen and go for the exchange. And this, you have the knight protected it. So you have 2 pieces attack the pawn. Then after this move, g4 was played, and this pawn is attacked the knight. And now the black is in control of the game. And here the best move will be just move the knight away to either e1 or to d2. But in the actual game, the knight moved to g5 with the idea to capture the bishop. And after capture the bishop, the knight will go to c7 and check the king and win the rook. However, in this position, the black continue to attack the knight by playing bishop h6, and now you have the bishop attack the knight, and this knight cannot be moved, and if the knight move, you win the queen. And at the same time, you have the queen attack the knight as well, so you have a double piece attack a knight, and it's only protected by the queen. So this will be winning for the black, and in this position the black is clearly better. So after this move, the white play h4 to protect the knight. So in this position, you have two pieces to protect the knight, while two pieces attack the knight. And in this move, the white has made one tactical mistake in this position. I give a couple of seconds to figure out what is the white move and what is a tactical error that the white play and cause the black to win in the game. Well, congratulations for those who found the answer, and for those who like to enjoy the show, here are the moves. In the last move, the white made the first pawn move of moving two spaces to the front, and with this the pawn is on the side, and this allowed a special move of the pawn which is called an passant. By playing this, the black can play pawn capture the pawn, and this is called a g takes h3, and this special move is called the passant. And by playing this move, the black is remove the pawn to guard the knight. So after this move, the black is clearly winning in the position, and now the knight has to move away. By moving away, the queen will be captured, so the knight cannot move to any place. And in the actual game, the knight just capture the bishop, so knight takes e6, and this is another mistake that the white play, because after this move, the bishop will just capture the queen and winning the queen. Then the knight continue to goes to c7 and check the king, and with this check, the white trying to win back the rook. And in the actual game, the king cannot choose the wrong move, and let's say if you move the wrong move, such as king to e7, then you have a knight 7 go back to d5, and this check will fall the king and the queen. And if you capture with the pawn c takes d5, the knight will just continue capture the pawn and check again and win the queen. And if the king go to e6, then the knight will capture the queen. And here, if you capture the knight, then the pawn will just capture back the bishop, and this will give the white slightly better position. Or if you just move away the bishop, such as bishop to d4, then now the knight can escape to d5, and still you have about the equal chances, and the black is still slightly better. So after this check, the king need to choose the correct move, such as in the actual game the king just move king to d7 and trying to attack the knight. And with this move, the knight can just capture the rook. So in the actual game, the knight just capture the rook. And if you use the rook to capture it back, obviously the black is still winning the game. And if you just use the pawn to capture the bishop, the queen can just move away, such as queen to g5. And with this move, in this exchange, the black is claiming winning with the extra queen. So back to this position. In the actual game, the knight just captured the rook, and after this position, the black is winning and will be mate in the next 5 or 6 move. So in the actual game, the queen continued to play queen to g5, and this idea is to checkmate and capture the pawn at g2, and nothing much the white can do to prevent the checkmate. So in the actual game, the white move pawn to g3, and after this move, the bishop is still pinning the pawn. The pawn cannot be moved as being attacking and pin the king. So after this move, the queen just capture the pawn and check the king. And with this move on the 19th move, the white resign the game. And if you capture, now you can see the bishop, the pawn cannot take the queen as it's being pinned by the bishop. So after this move, the white resign the game. If you want to continue the game, the king only have one place to move, which is king to h1. And after this move, the queen can just go to g2, and it will be a checkmate. So back to this position, and if you want to delay the checkmate, the only way is can play is the rook capture the d6 pawn and check the king. And now this move, the king, if you just capture the rook, if you capture the rook, it will allow the knight continue to check, or even you can use the rook to check again. So you will delay the checkmate only. So the best move is you just move away the king from being checked, such as king to c8. Now after this move, nothing much the white can do to continue check. So if you move the knight to b6 and check the king, then you can just use the bishop to capture, and this bishop will continue pin the pawn, and this pawn also being pinned as it cannot capture the pawn at h3. So nothing much you can do. And another continuing move is such that you just capture the pawn to check, then the pawn will just capture. And if you're trying to move the pawn to g4 or g3, it will just capture by the black. So if you move the pawn to g4, the queen will just capture, and same again if you move to h1 or h2, it will be checkmate by the queen at g2. So back to this version, one of the real idea at this game is the continuation to play the strong pawn attack with a g5 and the h5, and continue to storm and win the game in the king side position. And with this, thank you.